Meanwhile, we've got more reaction now from Capitol Hill and Congress about what's happening as to how much support we will give Ukraine and Zelenskyy and what will we do. Senator Tom Cotton just wrote a scathing piece at foxnews.com, and the senator is with me now. And sir, thank you for your time, and thank you for bringing your expertise to the military battlefield to our viewers here. I'm going to read your headline, okay? You say, Biden's timid leadership in Ukraine is on full display in Poland MiG fiasco. While Zelenskyy has rallied his people, Biden has responded with timidity and half measures. I'll give you a chance to explain yourself and make your case first, Senator.
Good morning, Bill. First off, Ann and I want to send our prayers to Benjamin Hall and his family and the whole Fox News family. He's one more innocent civilian victim among thousands of innocent civilians in Ukraine of Vladimir Putin's brutal war of aggression. We could be doing more to help stop that war of aggression, and this MiG fiasco is a perfect example of it, Bill. President Zelenskyy has said he wants the MiGs, that they would help them. They would help complicate Russia's war planning. We should give it to him. If he wants it, if that's what he says he needs, that's what we should provide them. Bureaucrats at the Pentagon and State Department and the White House should stop coming up with every reason in the world why he shouldn't want what he says his country needs. Their arguments are logically contradictory, Bill. On Sunday last week, they green-lighted Poland to give those MiGs to Ukraine. On Tuesday, they said it would be dangerously escalatory if the United States gave those MiGs. Those can't both be true. Likewise, as they come up with every reason in the world why these MiGs are not going to be effective for Ukraine, they're also saying that they would be viewed by Vladimir Putin as escalatory. Again, both those things cannot be true. What we should stop doing is worry about what Vladimir Putin thinks will be escalatory. Quit letting him set the terms of how we will support Ukraine. We should get off the back foot, get on the front foot, and make Vladimir Putin worried about what will be escalatory.
Senator, you just wonder how badly we must want that Iran deal. I think doesn't it run through your head as, you know, in the background of all this?
No doubt about it, Bill. And it's been like that for a year. President Biden projected weakness and conciliated with Vladimir Putin throughout 2021, and I think there's a big measure of that driven by the Iran nuclear deal. Remember, the Ayatollahs wouldn't even sit down with Joe Biden's representatives at those negotiations. So he was relying, in effect, on Russia to be his lawyers representing the United States to Iran. And to this day, he is still relying on Russia to try to seal a nuclear deal with Iran at a time when Russia is waging a brutal war of aggression in Ukraine and when Iran is shooting ballistic missiles into Iraq, nearly destroying our consulate in Erbil.
Let me read again from your piece. At every step, Joe Biden has allowed America's response to be dictated from Moscow out of a fanciful fear of provocation. The wages of Biden's weakness are Russian tanks rolling through Eastern Europe. If we fail to support Ukraine, the stakes and the flames of war will rise. Let's see what happens on that. However, we will see also on display at this time tomorrow, Zelenskyy make a presentation to members of Congress. I don't think you can underscore enough the potential impact that an address like this might have on members of not just the Republican Party, but his party and the Democrats themselves. I mean, you gauged the reaction in London from a week ago when the members of Parliament gave him a standing ovation. This could be quite a moment as America watches to hear his message, Senator.
Yeah, Bill, we had a conversation via teleconference last weekend with President Zelenskyy, and some of the actions he asked Congress at the time, we got very promptly, like, for instance, Visa and MasterCard pulling out of Russia. But he also asked last Saturday, 10 days ago, for the transfer of those MiGs as well. Unfortunately, we still haven't got them. I suspect tomorrow, when he provides a virtual address to a joint session of Congress, he'll also lay out more requests. And to the greatest extent that the United States and NATO can, we should grant him those requests. He's the one that's running around from hiding spot to hiding spot inside of Kyiv as they're getting shelled, as you showed earlier, bravely leading his people. If he says that he needs something and we can provide it to him, then that's what we should do.
Senator, thank you for your time. We'll wait for that address tomorrow. And thank you for your thoughts on Ben, his family, and the rest of our crew working on the ground there in Kyiv. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Tom Cotton. Julie.